All right, let's do this. I've just been given the craziest news ever. It's probably one of the biggest opportunities I'll ever have in my content career, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around that this is actually happening. Got a call from Adidas last night and they said that I am good to announce I will be flying to Boston with Adidas to run the Boston Marathon. And that is absolutely crazy because obviously, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, I'm not a professional runner, I'm a content creator. So I thought what better way to kind of bring in the Boston Marathon and do a series than on YouTube. I haven't done much YouTube stuff in the past. I have been very much kind of short form content only, done a few podcasts. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what we can do and really document the whole process. This journey is going to be an interesting one, and I'm going to get into everything that we'll be covering through this series and the Boston Marathon, the times I'm going for later into this video. But for now, I just wanted to go back through my journey of running and where it all kind of started, because it hasn't been that long. I'm sure there's a lot of other runners out there who've been running for a lot longer than me. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on it. Here we go. I went on the reality TV show Big Brother in 2022. I had blonde hair, had a fun time, but came off the show a little bit lost. Reality TV is a tough one because no one prepares you for the limbo stage. There was a year between filming and airing, and it really felt like my life was on hold. I took up running as a way of clearing my head and pretty quickly fell in love with the process. I made content surrounding that and grew a bit of a following. I learned about Zone 2 running, which was revolutionary for me because I'd always associated running with pain, coming from a football background. Once I learned that going slow was actually going to help me in the long run, I set my sights on my first marathon. Looking back, I had the most inconsistent training block, but I did enough just to get through. My first marathon was the Great Ocean Road Running Festival, which is actually 44 kilometers. Trust me, that extra 2 kilometers is a big deal after 42 Ks of running. I completed the marathon in about 3 hours 30 with my friends and said the same thing I say every time: never again. Fast forward a couple of years, I've got multiple marathons under my belt, a couple of ultra marathons, and here we are getting invited to the Boston Marathon with Adidas. How is this my life? So the Boston Marathon, let's get some facts about it. And what better person or thing to ask than ChatGPT? I put into ChatGPT, what are some, giving me like top 3 facts about the Boston Marathon, just so we can get a brief synopsis of what the go is. Qualifying, so it is a marathon that you need to qualify for, and ages 18 to 34 males need to run 3 hours. I'm lucky enough that I have ran a sub 3 in the Melbourne Marathon. So the Boston Marathon is the oldest annual marathon in the world, first held in 1897. It was inspired by the success of the marathon at the first Olympic Games in 1896. So obviously the course length is 42.195 kilometers or 26.2 miles. It's a point to point, starting in the town of Hopkinton and finishing in downtown Boston. One of the most famous parts of the course is Heartbreak Hill, which comes around the 20-mile mark, or that's 32 kilometers. It's about 200 meters of elevation total, but I think the general trend is kind of downhill. So I'm not sure what time I'm going to be able to run, but it'll be interesting. So this marathon block, what am I going to be focusing on? Well, firstly, my last marathon that I kind of went hard in was the Melbourne Marathon. I ran a 2:56:40, I think, which was great, but I just bolted out of the gates and then I pretty much just tried to hold on for the whole way. So a big focus for me for this training block and also this marathon is going to be my pacing and trying to make sure I stick to a plan. And I'm going to bring in a whole heap of professionals who I can talk to about that, and I'll show you guys that throughout this series. I'm also kind of keen to get a little bit lighter, which is tough to do when you're training for a marathon because generally you actually put on weight because of the amount of carbs you're eating and you're just fueling your body as much as possible. So it's going to be a really tough balance, and it's not recommended, and I would not recommend people to follow what I'm eating, but I'll document that whole process and hopefully I don't get injured. As well as that, I'm actually not drinking at the moment. I haven't had a drink since after New Year's, which I mean, it's probably, it's pretty important. If you want to recover and you're doing kind of big weeks, there's just no way I can fit in alcohol in there, which is fine. I'm on a pretty strict meal plan, as I mentioned. Sorry. And I'm week 4 already of my training. I wasn't sure. This kind of took a little bit of a while to lock in this race and to fully confirm it. So I've been training, being oh, am I going to do the Boston Marathon or not? But I've been training pretty hard. So I'm already week 4. My training's starting to pick up. I think I'm doing 60, 70K weeks at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of the main focus of this marathon block. I'm really keen to get in a whole, heap of different professionals that we can talk to, different physios, different coaches, etc. And I'll be able to show you guys all of that. So for this series, I'm looking to do 1 one video a week. Hopefully I'll be releasing that every Sunday. And then I just want to go through all of the processes. So I want to do heaps of training vlogs. I want to touch on like my marathon plan, what I'm using for that, and then like the consistency and recovery kind of things. Plenty of, you know, kitchen and meals I'll be eating. And then on top of that, the struggles, because I did a session this morning and it sucked. It was so grim. So keen to bring you guys along for that. And I don't know, you can see what I'm doing and maybe take a few things from that or critique me in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe so that you know when the videos are coming out. And honestly, huge shout out to Adidas. I can't wait to go into all of that, but just super appreciative of the opportunity, and I'm gonna make sure we make the most out of it. Cheers.